What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. I'm just going to keep going, sharing about some ways that God just helped me along my journey of getting free from pornography addiction. And a lot of it, so for several years, so there's the early exposure, there's the process of getting addicted. And then, sophomore year of high school, decide to follow Jesus with my life, to make following God the priority of my existence. And pretty soon after that, for me, there was conviction about this isn't a good thing. Or like I should stop. But that's kind of like step one is like, do you even think it's wrong? And I know some people do not think that it is wrong. But the reason I know that it is because the Bible's pretty clear that sexuality, sex, is created by God, intended to be explored within marriage. And so any type of sexual behavior outside of a marriage relationship is suboptimal. And you could probably rank, which one's worse or what's better, whatever, but ultimately I'm not into that. I'm an idealist. What's perfect? And then how do we get there? That's the way my brain operates. And so pornography, not perfect. There's some conviction it's bad. And then several years of time went by of me trying to stop. And I couldn't stop. This is kind of what I talked about in yesterday's video. How no mechanism that I designed was able to keep me away from this sin behavior. No, I just couldn't. I tried and I couldn't. And for some people, you probably could try and then you could, because it's just not that big of a deal to you. But for me, it was hard. It was hard to get out of it. And so, I think a lot of theological shifts happened that then took a lot of time to believe. And I think one of the earliest ones was not even quite theology yet, but it is. And it was believing that it is even possible to never watch pornography again. If you had asked me junior year, senior year of high school, freshman year of college, hey, is it possible as an unmarried person to stop in a way that you do not ever do it again? I would have said no. That's probably not possible. Which is funny, because it's why are you even trying to get free if you don't even think that you can? And that's a valid question. But it's because I put a lot of weight in if we could at least make it significantly less often, that would still be really positive progress, right? Which, maybe. Maybe. But it's not really transformation that way. And if we were talking about a different sin, you probably wouldn't feel that way. Just pick whatever sin you judge. Maybe you don't judge any sins. Sorry for putting that on you. But let's say I'm a psychopathic murderer. And I'm I probably can't live my whole life without killing anyone. But if I just kill one person a year instead of one person a month, that would be really positive. That'd be really great. And then maybe I'll get to the point where it's once every 5 years. You would not want me trotting around this earth, It's like, no, stop. Like, actually don't do that. You know? That's the way we're supposed to respond to sin. Like, don't do it. Don't just do it less. Don't just try to mitigate the negative consequences. Like, actually don't. And I did not believe that was possible. I would have said that's prideful to even suggest that. Like, that's so, or like that's legalistic, or that's works-based righteousness. Like, you can't just say that you'll never watch this again, or you can't just even, that's not even possible to even believe that that's true. You know, that you'll just never do it. Like, you can't say that. And so there's a lot baked into that underlying belief that I did not think it was possible. And maybe I'll just start with one or two of those beliefs that got exposed, because we have these beliefs that we like assimilated, or like we took them on. They wove their way into our worldview without our approval, like without our conscious agreement. Most things that you believe the deepest, you started believing at age 12 or younger. And it's because of whatever you were taught through actions or through words or through environments. Like, you believe things because they're into the fabric of who you are. And so to try to undo things that you didn't even know were there in the first place, I mean, it's just a challenge. It's just not easy stuff. And one of the things that was baked into my worldview is that you can't not sin. And that's a little bit loaded. I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm not really even talking about a behavior that is so flawless in every way. But for this video, am not really talking about sin altogether. I'm just talking about the action of choosing to watch pornography. I would have said, you know, no matter what sin you're picking, you can't say that you won't do that, or you can't say that you don't do that. If you haven't killed someone, it's just because you've been lucky. You know, you've been blessed with grace to not kill. But it's not because you wouldn't kill, you know. Just like, I think some people might call it like total depravity. Like, just the utter sinfulness of humanity, that you're bound to sin. You're bound to the sinful nature. You can't not sin. No matter what the sin is, you probably will do it. But just try not to. Which that's just like that's the most hilarious part about that worldview, is that you maintain that you should try to do something about your sin problem. That makes no sense if you actually believe that it's impossible. So believing that it was in fact possible to not choose to watch pornography again took time for that belief to sink in. And I'll save that for another video, the process of a belief. But let me just mention one verse. I didn't look up the verse beforehand, so I'm sorry I don't know the reference. But it goes something along the lines of this: no one is tempted beyond what he can bear. Anytime you're tempted, like, there is a way out. Anytime you're tempted, there is a way out. So again, we have our preconceived notions of what we think is true based on what we've experienced in life. And well, I've always chosen this sin, so surely I always will struggle with this sin. But the Bible doesn't say anything like, hey, if you struggle with the sin, you always will. That verse is not there. I wish it was there, but I'm glad it isn't there. anytime you're tempted, there is a way out. You are never tempted beyond what you can bear. So anytime that I wanted to watch pornography, I could never, ever, ever say that this is just too tempting, or I just had to. I had no other option. Like, there always is an option. And so that in itself was super helpful for me. One thing that poked at my worldview, but again, it took time for me to actually believe that, but hey, there's always a way out. Never in any particular moment do I have to choose to act in some particular sinful way. I always have another option, scripturally. And that flew in the face of my pre-existing belief, which I just, adopted from my environment, which was that, you're always gonna sin. There's not always going to be a way out. There's not going to be an opportunity to not. There will be opportunities too that unfortunately will come and get you. But just repent afterwards. Say you're sorry and try not to do it again. So, hey, there's a way out. You don't have to stay stuck. I'll share more about some more worldviews and theologies in some coming days. That's all I got for y'all today. Life is worship. God is love.